Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, even the elders that came before them that taught us this truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word of truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. The elder Yashawan, shalom and salutations to you all. This whole thing is about a shit show right now. And excuse my language, but there's no other way to describe it. It is a complete and utter shit show, and they're going to tell you as much. Okay, so this is the latest. The only thing we can do is try to give you the latest in the shit show. Okay, so this says an hour ago, right, which is in the last 2 hours. All right, so from what I can understand right now is they weren't supposed to fire on any energy structure of Iran. Okay, the Western powers weren't supposed to fire on Iran's energy structure. And Trump said that they wouldn't do it. And what does Bibi go and do? He goes and does it anyway. Right? Which is the pattern. So after that, right, this is last night, within hours, not days, Iran already struck back. But we would have to see them strike back at energy. All right? If that makes any sense. So anyway, let's get a quick precept and we'll get into it. Let's get really quick to explain my method here. Sirach 5:15. All right, be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or small. So from there, what's going on here? Let's watch a little bit of this, and I'm going to cue it up. Listen from here. All right, they're in Tel Aviv. This just happened. And then when we get to this lady here, she's going to try to explain what's going on. And it's so convoluted. It's such a shit show. I'm going to just let it play. And listen to them talk in circles about, well, this is what was said and we don't know. And Donald Trump said this yesterday. And listen to it, the circles and chasing of tails that's going on right now. This is great confusion. All right, Babylon.
US in the Gulf states, for example, to apply economic pressure, not least with how it's controlling the Strait of Hormuz, the world's most important shipping lane. So this war remains limited in the sense that it's down to aerial bombardments for now, but it's being fought over an incredibly large geographical area.
James Waterhouse in Tel Aviv. As we mentioned, Iranian media say strikes have targeted 2 of its gas facilities and a pipeline hours after President Trump said he would halt attacks on the country's power infrastructure. Let's get more now on the latest from the region with our correspondent, Azadeh Mashir.
Okay, so she just explained that after Trump called a halt to everything, Iran was struck anyway. Not the main strikes that they warned against, but nonetheless on their energy structure. Okay, and as a result of that, they fired back. That's what's being said. Now, she's going to go from the top, okay, and give her assessment on what's going on. She hasn't spoken yet. Now, listen to her just talk in an endless circle, letting you know great confusion. We'll get great confusion right after this. Listen to her.
Who's in Dubai for us. Azadeh, first of all, what are we hearing from Iran?
So those claims haven't been verified yet. They're coming from Fars news agency, which is an Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps affiliated news agency. They do quote some local officials in there as well. What they're claiming is that there have been attacks on energy infrastructure, but that there hasn't been any significant damage, that they didn't reach their targets. That's unclear. We haven't been able to verify that yet. But it does come off of the back of Donald Trump, the United States, walking back its deadline that was due to end last night. urging Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, which they have a chokehold on right now. And in exchange, the United States would not carry out a threat to target power plants in Iran. Now, we don't really know what's happening. There are a lot of questions right now because there have been conflicting reports about whether the United States and Iran are actually having direct talks, whether these sort of preparatory discussions will actually lead to real meaningful talks. Either way, Donald Trump has said that there's a 5-day pause on his threat while some of these discussions move forward. There are also several countries, players that are supposedly involved in this. Countries like Pakistan, Turkey, Egypt. Here in the Gulf, leaders will be watching very anxiously because part of the issue is this war has not ended. They are still receiving attacks. Here in the UAE, the government, the Ministry of Defense, has confirmed that they have been responding to 5 ballistic missiles and a number of drones. Kuwait has had power outages this morning because debris from an intercepted attack hit some power lines. Bahrain had to have emergency crews battle a fire after a commercial building was supposedly struck. We don't know if that was from debris or a direct hit. Saudi Arabia as well has been dealing with these attacks as well. So it's not over. And the Gulf will also want to ensure that whatever discussions do take place will take into account the fact that there's a new regional reality now when it comes to security. They've realized Iran is willing to use its bank of missiles and drones extensively against them. And so regional power plays, dynamics, all of that is about to change. And this is an extremely unpredictable situation.
Woo! Okay, so what she did finally get around to saying is this, if you understood. Well, the U.S. has ran away and said, okay, well, we're washing our hands of it. And now the Arabs are getting pounded. And they're not safe, so they're about to make a turn. And I say that based on what the scriptures say. All right? The U.S. is acting like, well, everything's stable now. We're having talk. They're not having talks. They're acting. They're in fantasy land saying what they would like to happen while the Arab states are being pounded. Right? In reality. And while the Arab states are being pounded, Israel is trying to fight back. That's really what's going on. Up to date right now. And that's going to continue for the next day or so, where America is going to have to go back and deal with it. Because it's not going away according to what she just said. Okay? So within the next 2 days, Iran is going to continue to do what they're doing right now. So there is no ceasefire. When Trump calls for a ceasefire, Netanyahu goes and fires. That's what we're seeing. And as a result of that, then Iran hits back immediately. And that's what this is right here. Okay? So that's where we are up to date right now. Within the next 2 days, that's going to continue. It's going to prove that what Trump is saying is all lies. They're not involved in negotiations. That's a lie. Okay? There is no ceasefire. That's a lie. So what's being established is that Trump is in a whole different timeline than everybody else. That's being established right now. Okay? And it's not working. They're going to have to come back and fight this war. They're trying to chicken out. Trump is trying to taco right now, and he's going to be forced, right? They're being drawn out. Let's get that. More than ever right now. That's Jeremiah 49:20, right? Let's see. Jeremiah 49 and 20. Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord that he hath taken against Edom, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. So that's what we see. We see the drawing out. I'm going to let her continue to speak. But Israel, right? Iran strikes Israeli capital, Tel Aviv. Why? Because Israel struck those energy sectors, Isfahan or whatever, right?
You mentioned there fresh attacks in the UAE where you are. Has the pace of the Iranian retaliatory attacks slowed in recent days, and what impacts have they had on the economies in the Gulf?
It goes up and down. I don't want to say that it's slowed because I remember last weekend there was a period where we were noticing there were far fewer drones and ballistic missiles headed our way in the UAE, and then suddenly it picked up quickly again. The fact is even though there aren't any renewed attacks on energy infrastructure, there are multiple oil and gas facilities that have been hit.
Okay, so what we see every time the U.S. says, "Oh, we're working on a deal," or "We've stopped," then they ramp up the rocket fire or the missile fire, right? That's what we're watching, just to prove that that's not what is going on. In other words, Iran is in control of what is going on. And words and propaganda don't mean nothing.
The UAE says that that's from debris and that they're intercepting most of those attacks, but it's really hard to get information here. There's a real grip on it. It's illegal to film any damage or any incoming attacks or interceptions even. So that information is really hard to verify. Qatar, of course, has seen extensive damage at a major liquefied natural gas field, and they have already said that over the next 5 years they're going to see their export capacity down 17%. That's going to cost them $20 billion annually. So damage has been done. There's no going back from that, and it's going to take Qatar years to rebuild some of the damage that it's seen there. Here in the UAE, we've seen airspace closed on a...
Okay, they're going into their dreams and their fantasies as far as 5 years in the future. No, this is it. That thing is being dismantled right now. Okay, so Iran struck back. All right, that's what that's saying. Let's see, what did I put? I didn't put anything. Let's see. U.S. launches biggest strike on Iran. Right. Let's see. Oh, and this just happened. Okay. What's going on over here in Texas? Let's look at that real quick. See, be not ignorant.
At this hour, you're looking at the skyline there.
Let's look at this real quick, because what is this? This is a oil refinery, right, being hit, or an explosion. We got to keep our eye on that. They'll try to explain it away.
A home security camera capturing the impact of tonight's explosion and fire at the Valero refinery in Port Arthur. The blast shaking buildings and homes and rattling the nerves of many nearby residents tonight, while sending a huge plume of black smoke into the air. Jefferson County Sheriff Zena Stevens telling KFDM the fire was in a heater unit. No official word on what chemicals are being released into the air. Those living in the west side of Port Arthur, Sabine Pass, and Pleasure Island have been told to shelter in place tonight. Highway 82 and 87 coming into Port Arthur are closed at the moment. Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight for KFDM 6 News at 10. I'm Kimberly Roosley. Aaron will join us in just a moment as we have team coverage of the explosion. Many of you capturing the smoke and fire on your phones, a dangerous combination from the blast reported around 6:30 tonight. That explosion made very clear for those who live nearby, whether you're in a mile or further, and you can see the thick plume of smoke from miles away as the sun sets right here from one of our viewers who lives a little bit further out. And right now, Valero confirming details with KFDM.
Very convenient that this is the only refinery that can process Venezuelan oil. Yeah, right. Sabotage, da 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 da. Anyway, see, Iranian terror attack, why would our oil refineries blow up now? Timing is everything. Either asleep or still or something. These are things to be considered. Am I saying that that's what happened? No. But you have to what? Let's go back. Sirach 5 and 15. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or small. Okay, so there was a 48-hour, right? Whatever, right? Threat, 48-hour threat that said that if you don't do this, if you don't open the Strait of Hormuz, motherfucker, then we're going to hit your oil, we're going to hit your energy sector. And Iran said, well, if you do that, then here's what we're going to do. So somebody hit Iran, right? And then they hit back. That's where we are. Okay? Iran is hitting back. So where does that leave us now? That leaves us where that lady said, hey, this thing is still going on. So as it goes on, the reality between is it going on and America left, are you going to come back and fight this war or not? That's what we're going to see in the next 2 days. All right. They are sending troops over there. What about that? Okay. So what's that, the okie doke? What do we see? Here's what we see. For sure. Okay. Here's what we see. Let's go to 2 Corinthians. Here's what we see for sure. We see the West calling for talks. When they call for the talks, they get the talk, and then they're killing somebody when they get the talk. The West calls for a ceasefire. When they get the ceasefire, they're killing somebody when they get the ceasefire. Who's doing the killing? All right, that would be the small hats, right? That's what happened last night, all right? What does that go to? His devices. We're not ignorant. We know what he's doing. He's got an MO. 2 Corinthians 2 and 11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. We know how he moves. Okay? So, let's see. Iran, it's fine. Energy, strike, last night. Three weeks ago. Look at this. 1 hour. U.S. Israeli. U.S. Israel strike Iran. Iran reports strikes in Isfahan and Khorramshahr amid U.S. Okay, so this should be legitimate. This might be where we're at, not 3 weeks ago. 3 days, no. That was after the first one. Okay, 9 days, no. 3 weeks. See how one slips through? 17 hours. U.S. continues strikes against Iran as Trump pauses attacks. See? You have to fine-tooth comb this thing. 2 weeks, 5 hours. This is new. Times new. Okay, watching 3 hours. Okay, so this is the retaliatory. Look at that, 48 seconds. They ain't saying nothing. 11 hours. Iran energy sites hit again despite ceasefire. See, so this is up to date. India TV. Iran targets Israel. Iran targets Israel is in missile strike attack in one day. So let's go back up here real quick. At the top, right? 3 weeks, 3 weeks, an hour. Let's take a look at this. We on.
Taxes was chasing.
Bear with me. And I know I'm going long, but we're just trying to ferret out what's going on for today. It's going to be more of the same. Tit for tat.
Now, the war in West Asia has continued to rage on into its 4th week. So let's take a look at some of the top developments on the ground. The attacks have been reported at energy facilities across Iranian cities of Isfahan and Khorramshahr. Now, it is not clear as to who has carried out these attacks because the American president said that he has stopped attacking the Iranian energy facilities for a period of 5 days. The attacks have come after Donald Trump extended the moratorium on attacks on energy facilities. The Amazon's cloud arm, AWS, has confirmed disruption to its services in Bahrain after drone strikes in the region, while the extent of the damage still remains unclear. Amazon Web Services officials say that the company is helping the affected customers migrate to AWS servers elsewhere in the world. The Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz has said that the military will take control of South Lebanon all the way up to the Litani River. Now, speaking during a visit to the military command center in the state of Israel, Katz added that the hundreds of thousands of South Lebanon residents who were displaced in this Israeli war.
They just stealing land, right? You have appointed my land. Sloppy. I'm going to end on this, Salaki, for going long. Ezekiel 36 and 5. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, certainly. Ezekiel 36 and 5. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all, not some of, Idumea, but all, starting with the Amalekites, all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their hearts, with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. This is them doing that right there. Appointing the land into their own hands. Right? So anyway, that'll come to an end soon. I made it right there with that. We hope that the elect are ratified. Oh, just, keeping you up to date. This shit show will continue. Right? If you care to keep up. So, Wars and Rumors of War Tuesday. All right. Shalom.